A top AEW star has been granted their release from AEW. Plus, a popular WWE star has taken a SmackDown hiatus. And the reason for the bizarre Clash at the Castle ending has been revealed. It's all in the wrestling news right now. In amongst the predominance of the press conference intolerance, there was the story of an AEW star wanting to step away from the company. We have an update on that story right now. Who is it and what's going on, Andrew?
So after being denied in August, Fightful Select revealed that Malachi Black has indeed received his release from AEW. This release is slightly different to others though, per Fightful, so this is what they're saying. AEW sources claim that the release is highly conditional, which isn't usually the case for the company. Usually, AEW doesn't even release talent outside of disciplinary reasons, and requests for release are done on a case-by-case basis. So these restrictions may prevent Black from wrestling in many places, as he's already withdrawn from an indie event tomorrow night in Ohio.
Now, we don't know whether or not this release restriction stops him competing in Ohio tomorrow, but
yes,
we just know that that is a thing that's happened.
Yeah, so also from Fightful, they said, we're told by many in the company that Tony Khan specifically wanted to retain Black and hoped to see him as part of the brand for years to come. There were efforts to have conversations to salvage the working relationship that AEW believed were fruitful. However, we're told that a meeting took place sometime recently and it was decided that if Black wanted out, they should probably allow it.
I think this release, this highly conditional release thing, I think we'll see more of that should other people wish to leave AEW before their contract expires.
Yeah.
I think because the grass around Stamford is suddenly so much greener, they won't want people who have built up a reputation once more on AEW to head into the warm embrace of Papa H so easily. Potentially that might be why. Where did AEW go wrong with Malachi Black, Andrew?
Man, like, do you remember the initial, when he first entered AEW? The arena just like all went black, and then he came up and he was face to face with Cody Rhodes. And like that within itself, a fantastic visual. And that was within itself, Malachi Black, this like mysterious aura, this man, this like you don't really know what he is, coming face to face with the company's top babyface at the time, and the idea of him just absolutely decimating the top babyface, this guy who almost seems untouchable to I think a lot of people, and I think the way he was being booked, he definitely felt quite untouchable, Cody Rhodes. So to have him go up against Cody Rhodes was like, oh, this could be a really big defining moment for Malachi Black. But then we had moments within that already from the get-go with like Cody trying to put his boots in the ring and be like, oh, I'm retiring. It took away from so much of what should have been Malachi Black's spotlight. And then I think from there, obviously we had moments where we were like, okay, this is building up to something. We had the House of Black sort of slowly build more people within it. And it was like, okay, we're finally going to get a dominant faction within this company. But then losses happen, and booking happens that just didn't feel quite right, like inconsequential losses, inconsequential feuds that didn't really lead to anything. I just feel like from what could have been a really mysterious and dominating presence within AEW just turned into just nothing. And not to say we didn't get fantastic matches, because we got incredible matches, trios matches with the like of the House of Black and Death Triangle as well. We got some really good matches, but just nothing of substance ever came out of what I think is a really compelling character, and something you could have done something really interesting with too.
Where does he go next? Like what do we see him doing? Now, obviously the conversations immediately return to, returning to WWE and being a part of that system once again. We know that Triple H was a fan of Aleister Black in NXT, but I'm sad to see him go from AEW because there were some wrinkles within his AEW character that I really liked, and I wish I could have seen more develop the mark under the eye.
That was so cool.
To grow.
I loved that.
Stuff like that.
It was things like that too, because we saw him obviously spit the black mist in like in Sting's face too, and for a while Sting had like the eye thing. I was like, this could be so cool that he like slowly starts to infect members of the roster and brings them over, like with Julia Hart. That was really cool. And to bring stuff like that in would have been amazing to see, but sometimes nothing really panned out with that, and that felt like a shame.
I believe it's a story and a character and a tale that you tell week to week. And because of the way that AEW seems to do things, whereby like you'll be on TV one week and then it might be a couple of weeks again before they loop back around because they're serving many masters, that you lose momentum with that. I think if we were seeing Aleister Black / Malachi Black week by week by week by week by week, and we'd see like the mark get bigger and bigger and bigger, to be more present in mind, then you would be really telling quite an interesting story there that people would really bite on. You could create a major star through that. But unfortunately, a bit of a victim of the way that AEW books, which doesn't always allow all the focus on the most compelling of people.
Yeah, absolutely.
IMHO, as the kids say.
I just hope he's all right, because obviously we've heard rumblings as well that he's just not possibly feeling himself, obviously with the way he's been booked and everything. I just hope he's all right.
Quite an emotional send off at All Out as well. Let's not forget that. Like there was a scene which very much felt like it was the swan song of the House of Black. Whether or not this does end the faction altogether, because if the guy with Black in his surname leaves the House of Black, you've just got House of.
Well, we'll see.
And then it becomes what? Pancakes.
Yeah.
Fraser. House of Fraser.
I get it. Oh, that's good. I get it.
House of.
Oh, baby, I hear the blues are calling. Maybe they come out like Niles and Fraser.
They could do, couldn't they?
Yeah, Julia Hart can be like the dad with the cane. Just like
coming out as Martin Crane.
Yeah.
Come on, Brody, we have to get to the opera. Damn it, Niles. Sherry Niles. Anyway, from Malachi Black saying goodbye to Pat McAfee saying goodbye for a bit. This is heartbreaking. As a Pat McAfee guy from Day Dot, I'm genuinely gutted about this. So the New York Post reported that Pat McAfee is set to join ESPN as a full-time host of College Game Day. Now, because of the difficulty of getting from one show to another across a weekend, Pat has put his SmackDown commentary career on ice. Paul Triple H Levesque put out a tweet saying, Pat McAfee approached us about this amazing opportunity with College Game Day. We never stand in Pat's way as he continues to architect his exceptional career. Pat will remain a member of the WWE Universe, and we look forward to his return. McAfee responded with, I appreciate you, boss. Thank you for everything. I'm lucky to be a member of the WWE Universe. I can't wait to get back on SmackDown. Are you a Pat McAfee guy, Andrew?
I think we all are.
I think we all are.
There's just something reinvigorated. Something felt very much reinvigorated when Pat came onto commentary. Obviously, we spoke about this at length before, but Michael Cole just felt like a completely different person when he had Pat by his side. I think and he spoke about it before, it just rejuvenated his love of what he was doing after doing it for so long. You can imagine you might get a little bit burnt out, a little bit tired of doing what you've been doing for however long he's been doing it for. But then when you get someone like Pat who's just got an excitable personality, and you're there and he's up on the table dancing, and he's like really trying to get Michael involved at the same time as well, which is really, really nice to see. It's going to be such a hit for SmackDown. Who they get to replace, who knows? Let's get Triple H back on commentary again.
Don't threaten me
with Michael Cole. How good would that be?
I think with Pat McAfee, the reason I like him, I kind of resonate with him a little bit because there is an unashamed love that he has for what he's doing, and he, without filter, just shows it. you get quite a few people who follow wrestling, quite a few people that watch this channel and watch wrestling in general, who enjoy wrestling but find it very difficult to really express that they love wrestling. And therefore, they'll either just kind of live vicariously through someone like Pat McAfee, or kind of just bury what someone like Pat McAfee does and goes, oh, it's cringe, because some people feel quite uncomfortable about expressing their love for something in such an over-the-top way.
Yeah.
And I get that, you know, and I was why I resonate with Pat McAfee, because I flipping love doing this, and I get very excited about doing this, and I wear my heart on my sleeve doing this, like Pat McAfee does, and I get branded as a bit cringe for it. I get branded as a bit too much for it, and you know, oh, it's only wrestling. Calm down, mate. You know, I get that, but I would rather be this than be someone that has to push it down because they're too scared of what their mates might think.
Yeah.
You know, like you get one go around. And Pat McAfee, I live very much vicariously through, because he isn't ashamed to go, this is great. I'm going to jump on my chair. I'm excited for this, because then that passion goes through you and the electricity goes through you. And I'm going to miss Pat. Oh, I'm going to miss Pat on commentary. That is a tough hole to fill. It should be Triple H.
Or you. You and Trips are in there now. You're doing Scissor Me Daddy Trips.
The first time I got to scissor with Daddy Trips, and my voice sounded like I'd swallowed a bag of gravel.
That's why he's like, I remember that guy.
Yeah, I mean,
he'll remember you for a lifetime
when
now.
the pipes are better, Trips, let's have
Give him a little ring-a-ding-ding.
Chat on the old ring-a-ding-ding, and let's get me over to SmackDown. That Clash of the Castle ending from this weekend, where I got to talk to Triple H and go, hello, Triple H, what's the wrestling like? It left us scratching our heads to the ending of that event, and we're going to soothe some of those scratches in our last story in a moment. Before that, another unexpected WWE moment was Becky Lynch's babyface turn at SmackDown, at SummerSlam.
SummerSlam, yeah.
She's revealed the story behind it, hasn't she, Andrew?
Yeah, she has. So while speaking on Out of Character, Becky Lynch was asked whether she was surprised to be turned back into a babyface. She said, no, because I had talked to Hunter a little bit before, and he was like, how do you feel about being a heel? And I was like, honestly, it's fun. I like it. I feel like maybe more naturally inclined to be a babyface. I think people like me better as a babyface. So he was like, I feel like we're swimming upstream keeping you as a heel. Yeah, I agree. And so then the creative was laid out, and I was like, yes, that sounds awesome.
Interesting use of words there. We are swimming upstream, keeping you as a heel. It's like, well, you know, when people so blatantly want to cheer you, let's let them cheer you.
Yeah.
I mean, sometimes that can go the other way. I believe that Vince McMahon thought that Bray Wyatt would be better as a face, as the Fiend for a little while. I seem to remember these were conversations like, no, he's a baddie.
Yep.
Don't be fooled by the fact that people want to cheer him, make him a good guy. But certainly with Becky Lynch, I think as a babyface, as a character there, I think there's lots of good to be done there.
A natural progression, right? I think it felt like through the storyline she'd very much hit rock bottom. She couldn't sort of climb her way back up to the top. She tried, she finally did in like the tournament stuff, but she couldn't get the win. So it felt like a natural thing to turn a babyface and not do, I guess, at this point, the tired old, oh, well, I'm just going to punch you after the match after I give you a handshake and whatnot. I think it was the right thing to do, and I'm really excited when she comes back from injury to see how this all unfolds as well.
I thought Drew McIntyre was going to punch Tyson Fury at the end of Clash at the Castle. Felt like that for a moment, but instead they had a sing-song. They sang American Pie, and that was how we went off air at Clash at the Castle. Now, we all went... I remember being in the arena, and it's a little bit behind the curtain, a little bit of how the sausage is made. I remember messaging Adam saying, right, don't worry, we've got our lead story for the video because when the cameras went off, Tyson Fury and Drew sang American Pie.
Yes.
We'll talk about that in the next video. And Adam went, oh, no, we all saw that. Hey, that was the ending. On his podcast, Freddie Prinze Jr. gives the reason why this was the ending of Clash at the Castle, and it's brilliant because he said he spoke to a few people within there, and the reason that Clash at the Castle ended with Tyson Fury singing with Drew McIntyre is because somebody forgot to cut the feed. Says Freddie, the end of the match was weird because they forgot to say cut. Ooh. I know this for a fact because I asked people. They left the feed running and all of a sudden Drew McIntyre was feeling good and Tyson Fury came to the ring and sang with Drew after a loss. It was so weird. Now, the bit that they did cut, I believe it. I don't know whether it was cut from the live one because they tried to sing "Sweet Caroline" at one point.
Yes, yeah.
And the crowd went, nah, not on our watch.
Yeah.
But it's certainly on the network version. It ends with them singing "American Pie." And that is apparently the reason why they just forgot to go and cut. Which makes sense because we didn't get the graphic in the corner.
Yes, we did. Yeah.
As far as I know. The graphic didn't appear in the corner.
I'm pretty sure So,
but they always roll, and you might think, oh, but there were angles and camera angles and stuff. From what I gather, they always keep the cameras like as if they're live for the live crowd there who are watching, and also in case they ever want to put it online as an extra.
Okay.
So that would explain why like the cameras were still on, but they literally just forgot to go and clear.
Oh yeah, because they do that, don't they? For like sometimes Raw when you see little things happen afterwards.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
So they film it as much as they can. So that's why they just forgot to go cut.
Which I mean,
brilliant.
It did feel very much like something that was more of a UK sort of thing. The sing-along, the sing-song, it felt very much more like it was for the audience rather than people watching at home. Do you know what I mean? So it makes sense that it was supposed to be cut, but it wasn't.
Funny story.
Yes.
You're welcome to it. More wrestling news throughout the day at cultaholic.com. Keys.
Love you, bye.